Deep within the old-school library, amid the hushed wisdom of stacked books, silence held a different kind of language. Especially during exam season, when the city's noise faded, every sound in the library seemed to tell its own story. The night was growing late, and Oyan and Ria were about to become part of a terrifying new narrative. Suddenly, Mr. Shafiq, the elderly librarian, made an announcement over the PA system. "Attention, everyone. Due to an unforeseen situation, the school premises will be entering a complete lockdown starting at 10:30 p.m. No one is to exit or enter the grounds. Please remain where you are and stay calm." A lockdown? Inside the school? The announcement immediately wiped away their exhaustion. Ria whispered to Oyan, "A lockdown? For what? Is this a drill?" But the fear visible in Mr. Shafiq's eyes told them this was real. Moments later, all the main lights in the school went out. Only the faint emergency lights flickered on, casting an unsettling orange glow that deepened the shadows. There were only 4 students left in the library, including Oyan and Ria. Mr. Shafiq urged them to stay absolutely quiet.
The silence that followed the lockdown announcement was heavy, absolute. It wasn't the usual library silence. This was the absence of life, broken only by the frantic pounding of their own hearts. Oyan pulled Ria closer, whispering, "Did Mr. Shafiq say what was happening? A fire? A drill?" Ria shook her head, her eyes wide with fear reflecting the emergency light. Mr. Shafiq held up a hand, silencing them. He was listening to something. A sound, faint but definite, was coming from the floor above, the rarely used mezzanine level, where the oldest, dustiest collections were kept. It was the sound of a floorboard creaking. Not the settled sound of an old building, but the sound of weight shifting. Someone was moving up there. Oyan looked at Ria. His mind raced. The main doors were sealed. Who could be inside? Ria slowly reached into her backpack and pulled out her phone. She kept the screen brightness at the absolute minimum and opened the school's online security portal. As students, they had access to the live feeds of the main corridors, but not the library's interior camera. On the screen, the main hallway was empty, lit only by the emergency lights. Everything seemed normal. But as Ria checked the stairwell B feed, the one leading up to their mezzanine, the air froze in her lungs. There was a dark, distorted shape on the screen. It wasn't the shape of a person, but more like a hole in the darkness, moving slowly up the stairs toward the second floor. A long, dark object could be seen dragging behind it. Ria quietly showed Oyan the screen. Before Oyan could react, a voice echoed over the same PA system that had announced the lockdown. But this time, it was not the librarian. It was a synthetic, calm, and utterly chilling voice. "You have disobeyed the instruction. You are not safe there."
The chilling, synthetic voice had cut through the silence like a knife. It was impossible. How did someone hijack the internal PA system? And how did they know exactly where Oyan and Ria were hiding? Mr. Shafiq, the librarian, quickly fumbled with his phone. He frantically tried to call the security office, but there was no dial tone. The line was dead. He mouthed the words to the students. "The power lines must be cut." Suddenly, the faint CCTV feed on Ria's phone flickered. The camera view shifted from the empty stairwell to the interior of the library, a view only accessible from the principal's office or the main security room. Whoever was controlling the system could now see them. They were not just trapped, they were exposed. The shadowy figure on the mezzanine level had stopped moving. It was standing right at the edge of the railing, gazing down into the darkness. Arjun, one of the other students, panicked. He whispered too loudly, "We have to run! Get out of here!" He lunged forward, trying to break free from the huddle. That noise was enough. From the mezzanine level, the shadow detached itself from the railing. The sound of heavy, deliberate footsteps began descending the metal stairs, slowly, rhythmically, menacingly. Oyon quickly scanned their surroundings. The main entrance was locked. The only way out was through the emergency exit at the back of the children's section, near the janitor's closet. But that exit would surely trigger an alarm, alerting the thing to their precise location. The footsteps were almost at their level. The cold air grew colder, thick with a scent like dust and old metal. Oan made a quick decision. They couldn't stay. The emergency exit was their only option, noise or no noise. Mr. Shafiq, shaken but resolute, nodded in agreement. His years of experience in the school had likely prepared him for every kind of trouble, but this was beyond anything he had ever encountered. They moved in a crouch, weaving through the narrow aisles of books. Each rustle of clothing, each displaced book sounded like a thunderclap in the oppressive silence. The approaching footsteps seemed to echo their own desperate movements. On Ria's phone, the grainy CCTV feed showed the dark figure now fully on the main floor. It was moving slowly, methodically, directly toward their hiding spot. It seemed to know their every move. They reached the emergency exit door, a heavy red portal marked with a flickering exit sign. Oan braced himself. He pushed the bar, knowing the alarm would shriek. The alarm blared, a piercing, ear-splitting shriek that tore through the library's silence. They didn't hesitate. Oan threw the door open, revealing the dark, empty corridor beyond. But as Oan was about to follow, Mr. Shafiq grabbed his arm. The old librarian's eyes were wide with a new, horrifying realization. He pointed back into the now open library door, his hand trembling. The dark figure was standing right at the open emergency exit door, now visible in the harsh light of the blaring alarm, blocking their only escape. It was holding something, a long, sharp object. The figure was not moving. It simply stood there, a void of color against the red emergency sign. The silence was heavier than the alarm had been. Oyan's heart hammered a rhythm of pure panic. Mr. Shafiq, gripping Oyan's arm, gasped a single word: eyes. The figure had no discernible face, but where eyes should be, two small pinpoints of flickering red light appeared. They weren't just lights, they felt like a direct, calculating gaze. Suddenly, Ria, realizing the danger, screamed, "Oyan, run! Back into the library!" Her scream broke the trance. This movement was enough. The figure moved, not with footsteps, but with a terrifyingly smooth, swift glide. It brought the metal rod down toward the ground where Oyan and Mr. Shafiq were standing. Oyan reacted instantly, pulling Mr. Shafiq back just as the rod struck. The teacher fell, but Oyan grabbed the emergency door and slammed it shut, activating the heavy deadbolt. They were safe for the moment, separated by a thin piece of wood and steel. But the figure wasn't finished. From the other side of the door, a sudden, powerful smash echoed. The figure was beating against the door, trying to force its way in. Oyan glanced over at Ria's phone. The CCTV feed was now completely dark. But on the screen, a new, static message appeared, typed in blood-red text. "I see you are a fast learner. Your isolation continues." The lockdown lasted another 2 agonizing hours until actual police and emergency services arrived. The figure was gone. The door was severely damaged, and a long, deep scrape marked the concrete corridor floor outside. To this day, the school claims it was a random break-in, but nothing was stolen. And 2 months later, Oyan received a text message on his private, unregistered burner phone containing a single attachment, a grainy, time-stamped photo of him and Ria huddled together behind the library shelves, taken from the CCTV feed. The hunter was not just stopped, he simply let them go. He proved one terrifying fact: he was always watching. And the next lockdown would be different.